So GCB the Moose and the Candy Man, like a freight train rolling, bringing truth bombs down the line. Promoting the Southland 1 week at a time. Promoting the Southland 1 week at a time. SCV CHAT starts now.
Who's GCB?
Up yours. I can say that. But before I get any further, views and opinions expressed in this broadcast are not necessarily those of the SCV, its GEC, nor any division, brigades, camps, or other subsidiaries. Strictly those of us expressing them. How about that? It has been a couple of weeks. I'm so glad that this show is still on the air. Evidently, Moose did a pretty good job.
I have ran this show on multiple occasions.
Yes, and I mean, from what I've heard, there haven't been any like South Park videos played. Last time,
one time
I took a little bit of a sabbatical. All of a sudden, I come back and Adam and Harrison are playing freaking South Park clips. But I will say that I'm extremely proud and grateful to you, Moose. Like I put on our Patreon. If you're not a member of our Patreon, you can go to scvchat.com and go into the Support Us tab and find out some more information on joining. Just $10 a month. But yeah, but no. But for those that did not catch, or just now tuning in, for the past couple weeks, I was running a political campaign for a guy here in Central Mississippi. And when I say I was running the campaign, I was doing everything except for the voter data. So collecting funds, campaign finance reports, graphic advertising, yard sign strategy, everything like that. It was a fun, we qualified on February 1st and the election was April 1st. So, it's 2 months, but it felt a lot longer than that. But it was and during that we had the rodeo going on and just, it was a very, very interesting time in my life. And I appreciate you, Moose, for keeping the show between the ditches until I could come back. I will say we talk about, getting involved locally in politics on this show occasionally. Our municipalities, our counties, parishes, if you're in Louisiana, and state government, state and local government, it has more impact on your day-to-day life, the way the founders intended at least with our heritage issues. So, if you know a candidate or can talk a candidate into running for office that, supports our issues or whatever, just, it's a lot of dedication, a lot of hard time, a lot of sleepless nights, but you get a good education out of it. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. I wasn't happy with the results. So before any of y'all ask, y'all can go ahead and infer there, but I got my feet wet and I learned things for the next one. And who knows what'll happen in about 11 years.
GCB for governor.
No.
Could you imagine having the governor on this show?
My views and opinions I'm going to keep to myself right now. But no, maybe not governor, but maybe something on the county level. Who knows? But Happy to be back in the saddle again. And good evening to everybody. So, Ryan, good evening. Glad to see you again. Just long time no see. Saw you Friday. You did an amazing job with your flag presentation. John, Dennis, Jason, and Lloyd, my reenacting hero. David from Louisiana. What? Oh, you're scratching your. You'll learn something. At an auction, never do this because they'll think you're bidding. Elliot Jackson, who Lieutenant Commander in Chief, is in Facebook jail. Which reminds us, don't forget, we put something out. Moose put something out a couple weeks ago about how a certain social media platform, which is still the most popular social media platform, as long as we're trying to reach the uneducated and the heathens, that's where they are. So that's where we're going to be until they run us off on a rail. Who knows? Could be tonight.
50-50, honestly. But that's why you need to join our Patreon so we never go off the air. Hey,
join our Patreon and make sure you are following our YouTube channel.
Yes,
I'm working on a series of videos right now. Harrison got to see the beginning of one, and if you're a member of our Patreon, you get to go into the PG-13 post show. You'll get to see the starting draft of this video that I'm talking about.
So make sure to go check us out because some episodes we have after shows, and sooner or later we'll have another episode of the Moosehead Book Club, and sooner or later we'll have.
I'm ready.
Let me reread the chapters. We tried to film this back in December, but we do a lot of cool stuff. And of course, you got to see some early content, like with our Confederate Heritage Month video that we'll be posting live tomorrow. Our Patreon members do get to see it first, so make sure to go check us out on there.
Yeah. So anyway, just everybody else, glad to see y'all in the chat. I do see Lloyd in. Happy birthday to you, sir.
Happy birthday.
So happy to see him. But
yeah,
it's good. It's been a good day in Dixie, but good couple of weeks. Just a little bit about what. Oh God, that's still around.
I did figure out how to turn it off.
Oh, and you just didn't. Lovely.
No. I turned it back on to wish him a happy birthday. See, look, I can turn it off and on now.
Oh, well, that's great. But so happy to be back. When was it? 2 weekends ago, or not this past weekend, but the weekend before. I was asked to speak at the Alabama Heritage Education Conference, and I wasn't given a choice on my topic. Thank you, Carl. So I had to speed read 3 sections of Albion Seed. So, I say speed read. It was between last September and middle of March. I had to finish chowing that down along with the campaign. So it was a lot of fun. But it's the difference between Yankee culture and Southern culture. An overview of that. So some of this does come from Albion Seed, which, you can get a copy of the book. We'll be doing some more episodes talking about that now that I have some free time. But there's some other notable works that I quote in there. You got anything you need to mention before we dive into this here, Moose?
Yes, real quick. Remember, we are having reruns all of April, highlighting some of the best episodes we've done here at SCV Chat.
Or some of the episodes we've done here on SCV Chat.
Or some of the best episodes, or some of the episodes we've done here on Chat. This Wednesday is our reaction to the PragerU video. I believe this one is the why PragerU thinks the war is about slavery. If I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken. I'm pulling it up now. We're pulling it up now.
Are we?
Yeah. So the video that's coming out is us telling you why the PragerU video, why the war was about slavery, was wrong.
If memory serves correct, Carl's in that one.
Carl is in that one, and Carl killed them. absolutely demolish them. And so that's a great episode. And remember, we'll have a lot of great episodes this month. We got 2 special episodes planned for y'all. I have to make sure our guest for the 3rd Monday remembers he's coming on. But after that, next week, we will kind of announce what we're doing later into the week. We got to make sure we have some of our ducks in the row. But quack, quack. And, of course, yeah, check out our YouTube tomorrow around 12 to see our Confederate Heritage Month video. And other than that, I don't think I have any announcements. Check out Look Around the Confederation. Working on a guest for that, too. So we'll have a lot of episodes full of great guests and Connor now this month. So make sure to stay tuned on the SCV Chat Facebook for more information.
Well, I actually do have an announcement.
Ooh. Oh, I piss. I know what it is.
Oh,
it's a t-shirt, ain't it?
You can't say that.
Ah! Dang nabbit, YouTube's gonna light us up now.
See, here's the thing, gentlemen. In 14 weeks, that is 14 weeks, 1 day, 12 hours, and 10 minutes, and 6 seconds, according to the countdown clock on the lovely National Reunion page. We are almost here for National Reunion time. And if you haven't purchased your shirt yet, you need to. What shirt is that, Harrison?
The Patrick Claiborne, I'm the South, Victory and Death?
No. The Moose Hunt shirt. That's right. The 2025 official Moose Hunt shirt. Available at bonfire.com. If you go to scvchat.com and go under the support us, you'll see a link for our bonfire storefront. And we have a bunch of wonderful options. We have comfort colors, hoodies, sweatshirts, classic t-shirts, and premium t-shirts.
How many shirts did you make?
I just made the one style. They just print it. But of course, they are available in the Army colors and Tennessee orange for the AOT because that's close enough to yellow. And military green as well for, Anyway, buy a shirt and you will get 4 free shots at Moose. The money that we're raising from this is going to go towards the Forest Plaza reconstruction there at headquarters.
Are we buying a onesie again this year? Because I don't know if the people could take that.
We may just put you in a Moose Hunt t-shirt and let them just shoot at you.
That's fine by me. But I do know who is going to be in costume because Jason Boshears, past Commander-in-Chief, has agreed to wear a T-Rex costume.
Well,
he'll be there for pictures.
So, yeah. Anyway, so get a t-shirt. We also have other shirts there. We have our Thomas Jefferson one, our Nathan Bedford Forrest one, our Jeff Davis one, our Patrick Claiborne one, our other Jeff Davis one, 2 Robert E. Lee one, and our chat one, as well as The South was Right in 1861 because of 1776 shirt. So help us with that if you don't mind. It's t-shirt season, although in Mississippi it's about 40 degrees up here right now. So
welcome to Mississippi weather.
Yeah.
I had to find this jacket this morning because I walked outside in a pair of shorts and a t-shirt, and I walked right back inside real quick.
They say if you don't like the weather, give it 10 minutes and it'll change. But
yeah.
Anyway, so Yankee culture, Southern culture, and I was reading Todd's comment. Southern culture and Yankee culture. Before we get kicked off on this, we need to set a definition. Now, you can be a Southerner but be born in the North culturally, or you can be a Yankee, or you could have Yankee culture and be born in the South culturally. Case in point, I have two examples out of my life. First example, we'll talk about somebody who's born up north but lives with Southern culture now. I had a roommate from Ionia, Michigan. His name, ironically, was also Connor. You had Confederate Connor and Yankee Connor living in the same dorm room. Now, to be fair, I was going by my first name at that time to prevent confusion, because you stick your head in and yell Connor, you can get two of us saying what. So anyway, everybody thought it was a bad idea because they thought that we would start, this lovely halftime that we have between those people up north and us would have ended, and we would have killed each other. But Connor moved down here and embraced Southern culture. He began learning everything he could about the South, what makes us who we are, everything from food to music to literature. And through living with me and being exposed to the pro-Confederate side of things, he got to the point where he was one during 2020 of the strongest people that I saw online defending the Confederacy. He'd moved back to Ionia by that point. No ancestry whatsoever, but was or is still an ally to the cause to this day. Like I said, had no Confederate blood whatsoever, but identified with the South. On the other side of this, we have a member of my family who I will refer to as Uncle B. Now, Uncle B, I'm not going to say its full name, is my mother's first cousin. The uncle part is you have to find out behind Patreon why I call it that. But was raised in southern central Mississippi in Simpson County. We share the same Confederate blood, same American Revolutionary War blood on our paternal great-grandfathers, or my maternal. No. She was my granddaddy's brother's young, and so it'd be mother's father's side, the Patterson side of our family. Same ancestry, same everything. But in about the 70s or 80s, she began going woke before going woke was cool. She divorced her husband and moved in with her life partner, and is a super leftist, one of those neo-Bolsheviks, as Carl would say. She believed that the state flag in Mississippi should be changed. She was a lobbyist for the state forever, or in the state government forever. She also believed that monuments should be taken down, and during a debate, she just told one of her East Coast elitist friends that pay no attention to them. They're my backwards redneck cousins. So, again, raised in Mississippi, born and raised, lives in North Carolina, but culturally is a Yankee. Which is a crying shame. So let's understand that when I talk about the Yankees in this and Southerners in this, it's more of an ideology than an actual location. Now, granted, location does play a factor into it. But for us to get started on this, we need to take a trip back to the 1600s, when the Atlantic Ocean was a highway for dreamers, rebels, and folks chasing something better. David Hackett Fisher and Albion Seed lays it out very plain. There were 4 major folkways into the United States. And this one, we're going to talk about the Puritan, which became the dominant structure of Yankee culture, and then the Cavaliers and the Borders, which blended to become Southern culture as we know it today. So up north, we've got the Puritans. The Puritans came from East Anglia in England. Primarily, they were yeoman farmers, or the yeoman class, and artisans. They sailed over between 1629 and 1641. Now, as we've mentioned in Albion Seed before, they don't consider the founding of the colonies. Fisher starts it with the major groups coming in. and they were bent upon building their city upon a hill. Think of places like Boston and Plymouth, tight little towns where everybody was watching everybody else under God's unblinking eye. Society wasn't as feudal as Old England, but it wasn't flat either. Piety and service ranked you. Edmund Morgan in The Puritan Family, published in 1944, calls their nuclear family a little commonwealth. Mom, dad, kids, all locked into a collective duty. Liberty was sacrificed all for the group's salvation, and that's a key thing, communal liberty. Now, down south from 1642 to 1675, Cavaliers, Southern English gentry, rolled into the Chesapeake, planning Tidewater's estates with servants. Fisher calls it a hierarchical liberty, freedom for the ones at the top, order for the rest, and honor pumping through it all. The nuclear family wasn't just a unit, it was the heart of a dynasty, tied into sprawling kin networks and stretched across counties. Then from 1717 to 1775, the borderers, Scotch-Irish and Northern English scrappers, stormed the backcountry. These folks were split on a hierarchical area or level from what Fisher calls natural liberty. Rugged individualism, take no mess freedoms, and their families were outposts of grit, fierce as a concerned possum and free as the wind. There's my Hank reference for the night. E. Digby Baltzell, in his book, The Puritan Boston and Quaker Philadelphia, nails the contrast. The North built a Protestant establishment obsessed with shared control, while the South mixed aristocratic pride with frontier fire. That combo still fuels our pushback against centralized power today. Think DC bureaucrats trying to herd cats down here. Liberty is at the fault line. Yankees love collective liberty, and where you were bent to the whole. Southerners, Cavaliers and Borderers alike, stood for individual liberty where a man's rights do not budge. Economically, Stephen Ines, in Creating the Commonwealth of 1955, says Puritans policed profit, finding folks for excess, because greed might tip their holy scales. Down south, there was no such leash. Cavaliers stacked lands like poker chips, Borderers scratched out a living with their bare hands. Both believed that if you were to rise or to fall, it was on your own will. Pull yourself up for your bootstraps, and the sky was the limit. Think of it today as the red state versus blue state, red state freedom versus blue state red tape. So why does this matter? Well, our roots grew a culture of liberty and guts. Families aren't cogs in a machine. We are pillars of defiance, and Yankees chains choke and our spirit flies. Excuse me. Let's talk about faith for a second. Religion is at the heartbeat of any culture. And of course, in the Bible Belt, ours beats strong and proud. Yankee Calvinism, which there's nothing bad against Calvinism, was a cold anvil where predestination ruled, and church and state were Siamese twins enforcing purity. Fisher tells of public shamings for skipping the Sabbath or stepping out of line. Collective zeal that morphed into today's woke crusade. Families, per Morgan, were mini states. Parents were jailers. Kids were hammered into shape of the flock. In the South, faith burnt free. Cavaliers hauled over Anglican pomp, but the Great Awakening of the 1700s lit a wildfire where Baptist and Methodist preaching straight to your soul, no middlemen. Borderers threw in raw tent revival passion, a God you wrestled with personally. Fisher pegs this as the Bible Belt's birth, and it's still our backbone. Carol Stack's Our Kin shows Southern families, both black and white, stretching past the nuclear into clan bonds by faith and loyalty. Brian McClanahan at the Abbeville Institute argues that this personal faith kept us grounded while Northern faith drifted secular. And today, our pews hum with life, whereas Yankee sanctuaries turn into coffee shops or condos. And I want to take a pause from my written notes and give a couple of examples about how Northern religion went a little bit too far in some cases, and how predestination goes into their ideology. As we mentioned, the city on the hill, but more than that, Fisher writes in Albion Seed, almost where the Puritans believed that they were the continuation of the Abrahamic covenant, that they were to come to the New World, they were to conquer the New World. This was their promised land, their land flowing of milk and honey, and if they were to live the perfect Puritan life and show the world how they should live that perfect Puritan life, that all would go to heaven that way. Collectively, that Puritan life would do that. No individualism. For example, is the joke that we talk about the Puritan funeral service. In the Puritan funeral service, it starts off early in the morning, and everybody they would drink small beer, not like we think today, but still some alcoholic content in it, up until sunset when it was time for the funeral. And the whole family would go up and carry Harrison in his shroud because coffins were too popish. And they would throw Harrison into the hole. Hey, you said you wanted to be like Carl Jones, and I kill him off in every speech. This time I'm killing you off. Anyway, they would throw him into the hole, and they would say prayers over him. Then they would gather up the children. Come here, little children, and behold your poor Uncle Harrison as he lies there in his grave. He may have lived a good Puritan life, but we don't know that. He could have been a deviant at home, so he could very well be in hell. So you better live a good, perfect Puritan life according to our laws, customs, and understanding of religion. Else you too shall end up in hell like your Uncle Harrison, potentially, maybe, because we don't know. And of course, having drunk all day, they would accidentally push some of the kids into the grave on occasion. But again, that is the idea that you take that and their morality and their need for having to be right. And you fast forward, 250 years, and you look at where we are now. Granted, in the northern portion or where the Congregationalist Church started there in the 1600s, had morphed into the now Unitarian Church, which just is a fancy way of saying agnosticism. But that's still unwavering belief that they are right, that they're chosen to be right, so everybody has to listen to them because they're right, still exists to this day. You see where I'm going with that. Hope everybody does, because if not, I got to find a better example next time I give this talk. Educate. Do you really? Do you really get it? I'll explain in depth in the post-show show. Education is where rubber meets the road. Puritans demanded literacy. Read the Bible or roast in hell. Harvard, of course, popped up in 1636, and Fisher tracks schools spreading like kudzu across New England. A collective push to save the souls and society. Parents drilled their kids in books and duty, laying tracks for today's Ivy League snobs. The South took a freer road. Cavaliers tutored their boys in Latin classics, crafting gentlemen who could quote Virgil while running a large estate. Borderers passed wisdom around the fire, practical skills, how to hunt, plant, and survive, not some plotting system like in the North. Fisher calls it a practical intellect. C. Van Woodward, in The Burden of Southern History of 1960, ties it to our love of story over bureaucracy. Excuse me, I had some things pop up. Schools came late, sure, but when they did, think about the University of Tennessee, Ole Miss, Swanee, Duke. They all shine with Southern soul. The Southern agrarians, and I'll take my stand of the 1930s, praised this organic learning rooted in life and not forced by the state. Families taught heritage and grit, not civic checklists. And again, again, talking about those educational places, University of Tennessee, Ole Miss. Notice I left out LSU for a reason. But think of it today as, especially with the Scotch Irish, continuate, or the Scotch Irish talking about the actual fundamentals on how to survive. That's why, you know, vocational schools are so much more popular and prevalent in the South. You know, of course, as industry continues on, but we have more farmers, we have more, you know, blue collar workers than they do up north, and there's a reason for that. We teach our children how to survive down here, and it passes on from generation to generation. The Yankee Collective demanded uniformity in schooling for their commonwealth, and uniformity in every walk of life, but especially in schooling. Especially when you look at works like Washington Irving's A Tale of Sleepy Hollow, or The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, where they literally make fun of Ichabod Crane for being a school teacher, a damned Yankee school teacher that's full of, you know, cotton mather. And even though it takes place in another part of New York, which was primarily Dutch settled, he still looked down his nose at the uneducated yokels who believed in superstition and stuff like that. Oh, he was the mastermind. He was the most brilliant thing out there. We still see that to this day. Again, as I mentioned, is the birth of the Ivy League snobness that we see. But they demanded uniformity. Southerners valued individuality, pick your own path, pick your own future, and things of that nature. The hearth shows a culture's guts. Yankee families, Fisher says, were stiff, kids bowing to parents, parents to God, all to society. John Demos, in A Little Commonwealth, talks about breaking kids, liberty smashed for order. Today's Northern parenting schedules, helicopters, moms echoes that old tune, and indeed, that was the case then, and it is the case now. They forced submission. Not saying that we down here let our children run free, wild, and rampant, but it was the entire idea that they lived in Puritan New England that, you know, comes down today, was complete conformity, and starting that at a young age. To the case in point that in Yankee society, or Puritan society, that became Yankee Society, they literally had selectmen who were in charge of 10 to 12 families in a given area, and their job was to walk through and make sure that they were all living the same moral life. And if they were not living the same moral life, they would then report it to the rest of the town council, and the town council would then figure out a punishment. Case in point, to put it into a modern perspective, think about it during COVID. Oh, and excuse me, your neighbors were encouraged to, rat you out if you were not living the exact Puritan to the Puritan code and laws. So think about COVID back when in the northern states we saw tip lines for, oh, Harrison's going out and he's not vaccinated. We need to call the local authorities or call the tip line and have him arrested, jailed, forced to get stabbed with a vaccination, and move on with life. Same thing. Meanwhile, in the South, Southern families breathed freer. Cavaliers raised their heirs for honor. Borderers bred fighters for liberty. W.J. Cash in Mind of the South calls it familism. The nuclear family rules, but kin wrapped around it like a quilt. Parents trust kids to grow up rough and tough, not tame. The Confederate veteran magazines in the 1890s brags on Southern's kids and their ability to ride, shoot, and stand tall with grit over reins. Yankees saw family as a collective cog and Southerners as a fortress of individual rights. Economically, Puritans capped wealth to shield the group, and Southerners let their families climb. Again, our strength is our free spirits, not the boxed ones like the Yankees have. Yankees families churn conformism. We raise warriors, loyal, fierce, and free. Honor is a Southerner's blade. It is sharp and deep. Cavaliers dueled over insults. Borderers feuded over land. Fisher recounts Virginia shootouts and mountain vendettas. Bertram Wyatt Brown's Southern Honor says that shame hurt worse than a bullet. So you stood your ground. Today, it's morphed into our gun culture, our stand your ground laws, our individual liberty with teeth. and kids learn early to defend what's yours. Yankees balked on that. They built courts, no dueling grounds. Fishers calls it a peaceable kingdom. Collective liberty outranked personal pride. Violence knelt to law. Less blood up north, but a sheepish peace. Southerners' honor isn't chaos, it's sovereignty, a man's right to his name and his castle. Today, it's a defiant South versus a compliant North. We raise protectors, not pushover, honor over harmony. Government is where where the rift grabs greatest. Hamilton, Jefferson, and Jackson all drew the lines of battle. Alexander Hamilton, Yankee to the bone, dreamed of a central giant bank with tariffs and humming commerce machine. Brian McClanahan, in his The Founding Fathers' Guide to the Constitution, calls him the father of federal overreach, collective liberty stomping on the individual or the state. Puritan town meetings ballooned today's regulatory monster. Thomas Jefferson, the Southern Titan, flipped it. States' rights, individual liberty. The Abbeville Institute hails him and his agrarian gospel in the notes of the state of Virginia. Free families on free land, not pawns of city bureaucrats. His nuclear family wasn't a servant, it was a kingdom. Walter D. Donnie and Ron Kennedy in the South was right, say that Jefferson's vision birthed America's real soul, Southern, not Yankee. Andrew Jackson, borderer through and through, swung a bigger axe. McClanahan's nine presidents who screwed up America salutes his bank veto, smashing Hamilton's elite for the yeoman freedom. His was a rough, personal liberty, family as shields against tyranny. The Southern partisan in the 1980s called Jackson the South's bulldog, proof we govern for men, not systems. Washington, Jefferson, Madison are all Southerners. They wrote and formed the Declaration or the Constitution or fought for it, respectively. 8 of the first 9 presidents hailed from Dixie soil. Liberty and economics not up. Hamilton's collective state taxed and spent for progress. Jefferson and Jackson's South guarded individual gains. Planters raked in it. Frontiersmen scraped it. Both free of fines for winning. Today, it's Yankee welfare versus Southern federalism. Hamilton's shadow in D.C. and Jackson and Jefferson in our red state spine. The South holds our government, the South holds and wins. Our government trusts folks, not faceless machines. Food's another cultural favor, and ours is a feast. Biscuits and gravy, fried chicken, collard greens, shrimp and grits, shrimp and potatoes, fried shrimp, boiled shrimp, shrimp stew, shrimp scampi, shrimp sandwich, shrimp po' boy. I think that's all I know about shrimps. Had to do that. Sorry, Harrison.
Take a nap.
But still, the Southern table groans with soul. Southern agrarians praise this agrarian bounty, real food from real land, not Yankee factory slop like chowder or baked beans or the New England boil. The Confederate Veteran magazine in the 1910 recalls camp cooks turning scraps into miracles, grit in every bite. And liberty here too. We grow, we hunt, we cook, free of the northern fuss. Yankees were lean and cold, fish stews and bland bread. Fisher says their meals match their lives, practical collecting with no flair. Our sings of family recipes passed down, kin gathered around. Today it's Southern barbecue versus New Orleans chains, heart versus hollow. Again, I talk about the New England boil, and it's a funny little story to talk about on the side. There's a guy on TikTok who ranks or who recreates presidents' favorite meals. And when he got to John Adams, he talked about the classic New England boil, and he did it. And he took a thing of corned beef and he soaked it to get all the salt out. Then he boiled it. Then he added a head of cabbage and an onion and a potato and a carrot. And then when he pulled it out and poured it into a bowl, it looked gray and bland and disgusting. Yummy. Literature's the same. Flannery O'Connor, Eudora Welty, Margaret Mitchell, their pens bleed honor, faith, struggle, of Faulkner, of course. The Southern agrarians cheered this storytelling, raw, rooted, and individual. The partisan calls it our bardic gift, tales over tracks. Yankees churn out guys like Nathaniel Hawthorne with his, Scarlet Letter, dark and dreary, yet again collective. Our words dance free and theirs preach. overabundantly, and not preach in a good way, but like preach at you. Our food feeds the body, and our literature feeds the soul. Of course, we can't talk about the South without talking about our military might, our military muscle, and the South flexed it hard again. Washington and Virginia whipped the British, and the Kennedys. The South was right. Note Southerners led the Revolution. Think of Lee, Morgan's, Sumter. War between the states. You cannot talk about leaders without mentioning Robert E. Lee, Nathan Bedford Forrest, Stonewall Jackson, who all fought bigger Yankees armies with less and still were able to hold out. The Confederate veteran remarked in the 1900s, brags on our boys, farmers that turned lions. Statistics scream it. 61% of Revolutionary generals were Southern. 80% of the pre-1865 presidents were too. Today, the South pumps out recruits. Individual liberty breeds fighters, not followers. Yankees built collective armies. Fisher calls them citizen soldiers, but lacked our fire and our unwielding will. Southern valor forged this nation, unyielding and unmatched. So why does the South reign supreme? Well, here's the tally. And I hope y'all are still following me along. As far as pace goes, I will take the slow pace and the rich beats, rushed and cold. Our porch swings over their subways. As far as hospitalities, I will be happy to take, hey, how's your mom and them, over some Yankee grunt when you say hello. I'll take food over chowder and barbecue over kale at any day. As far as literature goes, Faulkner triumphs over Hawthorne, soul over sermon. Tradition, we cradle our history, they chase fads. Our faith outshines their ash. Liberty, Jefferson and Jackson dunk on Hamilton. Definitely individual over collective. Economics, free gain beats their fined excesses, especially when you consider how they want to take from the wealthiest portion of the population and redistribute the wealth instead of everybody trying to pull themselves up by their own collective bootstraps. Economics, for like I said, free gain beats fined excess. Climate, listen, I'll take a lovely spring day in the South over, any snow burdened day that they're having up there. Identity, Dixie thunders past city static. Military, our blood built America. Also, I'll take Washington and Lee any day. The nuclear family clinches it. Yankee chains, theirs to a collective. Duty, not spirit. Our stands free, kin wrapped, honor forge, and castle of individual liberty. Fisher's folkways, McClanahan's truth, the Kennedy's fire, and the Abbeville's call. I'll shout at the South's supremacy. We're America's pulse, family, faith, freedom, unbroken. The South matters because its fights, unbowed, untamed, unrivaled. That's all I got.
Well, great. I was just about to text you. I got something to add some time if you want.
Okay.
All right. Well, this is not the end of the show, so don't anybody leave. But we did this last year, and I just thought about it. So I do have our Confederate History and Heritage Month memorial video up, and we'll be playing it.
Wait. The new one or last year's?
The new one. I made sure that this is the new one.
I thought we weren't releasing it till tomorrow.
Screw it. Go like it.
You said tomorrow. You said we were releasing it tomorrow.
Yes.
So we're going to release it tomorrow. I've been reading over here. I haven't had a chance to look to see what's on the comments.
Okay.
Doing the bull dance, feeling the flow, working it.
Welcome
I'm taking
back.
another 2 months off. At least it wasn't South Park this time.
No, I am using some of our own stuff now.
Thank God. All right. Yes, Dr. Sandy Mitchum, you were right. My cousin or Uncle B is she is definitely the black sheep in the family. Yes, Ron Kennedy, exactly right. That Louis Grizzard said it best: Southern American by birth, Southern by the grace of God. Yeah, no kidding. And Adam, it's funny you mentioned that. That's actually North Carolina is actually where Uncle Betty moved to. Oops, I didn't say that. That's where it moved to.
It's live.
So yeah, well, we'll pull it down later.
Let me mark it so I can edit it out.
Yeah, no kidding. So those are just everything that I've. Oh, I forgot to mention something. Todd, we got our packages in from y'all's Reconfederation. I don't know if Moose said anything or not about it, but I do want to say thank you so much. I really appreciate the gift from the California our compatriots over there. I hope one day to be able to make it over there and see y'all, or at least meet halfway in the middle. But we did get them, and thank you so much. Thank you for sending those.
I actually have something I want to tell you, Mr. Todd, before tomorrow. So make sure to text me after the show on Facebook.
Lloyd, you're completely right about Hamilton and his implied powers. I love the quote that Carl often says about that. You have to read between the lines, and only thing I find between the lines is space. So yeah. But again, at the end of the day, I mean, there's another book that came out back in the early 90s. I say early 90s. Let me Google it really quickly. It shares a title with another interesting book that the Kennedys wrote, but this one is it's actually, when was this published? Dang nabbit. Yeah, 96. Not the early 90s. It was published within my lifetime, but not Harrison's. It's called Dixie Rising: How the South is Shaping American Values, Politics, and Culture. I got it at a used bookstore a couple years ago, and I read the first half of it and had to put it down. But it was still an interesting read, talking about since the end of World War I, how the South has really, people leaving the South trying to move and find, different economic opportunities, have taken their culture with them and spread it around, how things have changed, and how the South is becoming a more a dominant culture in the United States. And at that time, it definitely was so, and you could see it with like the Southern Baptist Convention being the largest denomination. At that time, Trent Lott was Senate Majority Leader, of course, from Mississippi, and member of the SCV at that time, and other different things going on that you could that was obvious. But so at some point between 96 and when did I pick that up? 2020. How things have began to change. So, but yeah, we still can be, because and again, it's like the Kennedys wrote, and the South was right, that America's backbone and culture is Southern culture. Carl jokingly says, I believe, that there's South, and then there's no deep, or maybe it wasn't Carl that said, but he quotes it all the time. There is no deep South. There's America and a deep North, and that's true. And What?
I mean, he ain't wrong.
Yeah. And that's it. And that's what, we do have a culture to be proud of. We do have something that is, very historically unique to us, that I believe most Americans, flock to the ideas of. It's just they don't know that it's Southern, and it's our job to tell them that, because the South's history is more than just 4 years in the 1800s. It's from 1607 all the way to today. And in order for people, in my humble my views and opinions, in order to get them on fire for defending the Confederacy, we must have them on fire for defending the South. That's why the museum timeline starts in 1607, and it talks about everything that shaped the South, that shaped who we are, because our worldview was formed 400 years ago, and we have to understand where our worldview comes from, as well as from our enemy's side, because Sun Tzu said it best. Let me pull up that exact quote.
I know the one you're talking about. It's one of my favorite quotes now. I haven't stopped to learn it, but we talked about it in the first Moosehead Book Club episode.
Yeah. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. If you know yourself but not the enemy, for every victory gained, you will also suffer the defeat. If you know neither the enemy nor yourself, you'll succumb in every battle. And we have to understand that. We have to learn about ourselves. We also must learn about our enemies and understand their collective, ideologies behind them, so that we can properly defeat them. And that's what it all boils down to.
And we have to adopt that mindset, I think, that we have to know ourselves and our enemies.
There is a place, nestled in the rolling farmland of southern Middle Tennessee. A home constructed in 1837, nearly lost to the ravages of war. Saved by a servant and a Confederate general. A place where families loved and lost. If walls could talk, what stories could be told? If a place, a home, can feel love, loss, pain, surely this is one of those places. Nearby is a more recent structure, and inside are the stories of heroes and heroines, stories of battles won and lost. Stories of sacrifices made by the people of its native soil. A place that will tell the true and complete story of the Southland and the war fought for its freedom. From the causes that led to the conflict to the modern-day struggles to protect Southern history. Historic Elm Springs and the Confederate Museum at Elm Springs are the general headquarters for the Sons of Confederate Veterans. A place where the story of the Southland and its historic struggle is preserved and told. Come and discover your history.
Well, the guys are on the break now, don't know where they've gone to. Let's go to the kitchen and get ourselves a treat.
Welcome back.
Show really got off the rails without me being here.
Actually, this is the first time I've done stuff like this.
I
don't know what that says.
Dr. McCain doesn't approve.
Now that's a low blow.
See him back there? He looks like he doesn't. Speaking of,
Judging me.
Yeah.
Asking me when that book is going to come out. What is that?
Well, that is a copy of General Order Number 1, published July 15th, 1953, from the War Memorial Building, where I'm sitting right now, P.O. Box 5571, Jackson, Mississippi, naming Dr. William D. McCain as Adjutant-in-Chief.
Yep, if only someone could use that in a book he's writing.
Yeah, well, you know the guy who's got the key to the building.
That commercial break was sponsored by scvchat.com. If you want special, a look at what we think are some of our special videos of the month, link to our Patreon, our store shirts, some of our favorite episodes, a place to watch the episodes live, and so much more. This is really throwing me off. It's so much more. Go check out scvchat.com. And for $10 a month, you can help us reclaim the narrative 1 week at a time via SCV Chat on Patreon. For just $10, you can help us make special videos, help us stay on the air, and make sure that our reach continues to grow. And of course, you get special things. You get 2 exclusive shows. You get comments and blog posts from some of us. And
I did a blog post earlier.
Yeah, it's mainly from GCB. I'm not going to lie to you. And so much more. So please go check us out on Patreon for just $10 a month. Just $10.
Or buy a t-shirt.
Really, or you could buy 10 t-shirts.
Yeah,
that's the deal.
Yeah, that's.
I'll take that deal.
Did you take that deal? I take that deal.
That's exactly what I was quoting. All right. Well, that's been good.
Great. That's a great movie.
Well, I actually haven't watched it, but I've seen that scene multiple times.
Oh, you've got to see it. It's so historically awful.
Oh no, I've added it to my watch list and even rented it for this week.
So what you doing Thursday, Moose?
Well, we'll have a look around the Confederation where we discuss all the news you send in. So make sure to email us at scvyouthOutreach@gmail.com to have your episodes featured on this week's episode of Look Around the Confederation. We should
maybe you will. Maybe you won't.
We should have a guest speaker this week. I'm going to talk to him shortly. Make sure he's free. We did have a guest speaker lined up, but he decided to leave me high and dry, and it hurt my soul. Jason. He's not even on. He's not even on tonight. Yeah,
of course he's not on, because I told him he must be this tall to comment, and he got his little feelings hurt.
He hasn't been able to comment. But in all seriousness, we should have something on this week. And Dave said they'll be live this Friday. You don't want to miss it. That is in the Douglas Southall Freeman group. Yes, God bless Dr. McCain. Dr. McCain was a great SCV member and a great historian and man. Again, hopefully that book will release sometime in the near decade. And
hopefully the first chapter will be written in sometime in the near decade.
It's really kind of gotten to that point. I have so much research, I don't even know where to start. I still need a lot more. It's been a great study. But I guess without further ado, let us thank our Patreon members for helping us stay on the air. Again, for $10 a month, you can go support us on there. And you get our after show, which we'll be doing very short. Are we doing one?
Yeah.
And we're doing an after show very, very soon. And make sure to tune in this Tuesday for Look Around Florida, Wednesday for our rerun episode. And I think that's it. So without any further ado, thank y'all. Share out the episode. And ref up.
No Fumar in the elevator. Don't tell me that you stopped no Fumaring in the elevator.
No. I have in fact, been fumaring in the elevator.